Hey y'all, welcome back to Chat with Coach Amy. It is another episode of Me, Myself, and Darlene. And we have some questions that you have submitted that I'm going to answer. And I have no idea what they are. So let's see.
Good
These
morning. It's gonna be
questions, I'm
exciting.
excited. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
These questions were submitted from my 7-year Trimiversary. And so all year, the first Monday of the month, you'll get to be blessed by this time.
It is. It's exciting. There's
Okay.
a lot of them too. I'm excited. There was quite a few that were new from last year too.
Oh,
So
good.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
I
There
love
you
your
go.
office.
Thanks.
I
It's so
do.
cute.
It is. I love it. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
So exciting.
Yes,
So
I have a new
exciting.
office. My dear husband was so nice to let me have his hunting room.
And you wouldn't even know. You really like all of what you've done when you show it, you don't know it until you show the other end of the
That
rest of
that
your
other
like,
side. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
looking at a lot of bullets, a lot of compound bows, a lot of straps and harnesses and cushions and deer calls and I don't even know what. I think stuff to make arrows. I don't know what some of those things are. There's
Well,
also
you
an
wouldn't know it.
inversion thing. What's that inversion
I
thing?
saw that when
You
you were
people?
showing the thing. Does he
Yep.
use it?
Yeah, he probably will more since I'm in here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
I've
probably
heard
get on
that
it
some.
too. It's
I've
great
heard
for
people.
you.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never tried it,
Yep.
but I've
It's
heard. I've
scary.
heard they're good.
Hmm. Like that. You
So
know that
then, do you name?
reaction when you're in a chair and you don't know it leans back and you're like, that's what it's like. But you do
Thinking you're going to
strap
end up on
yourself.
the floor?
Yeah. You're it's kind of like when I do the GHD at CrossFit, you got your feet kind of latched in. You're not gonna go anywhere, but it still scares you.
That's exciting. Oh my goodness, that's so exciting.
It's definitely it was used. I don't know if he got it off of Facebook Marketplace or if I don't know. He comes home with all kinds of stuff. It might have been left at a rental property. I have no idea.
Yeah, but I'm sure it helps because he has his back
Yes,
troubles.
yes, he
Yeah.
does. He has arthritis in his spine. So it helps take the pressure off that. So yeah, he should be using it every day. I'm gonna make him a goal sheet with the habit tracker, with the pink and
Yeah.
everything.
And you can with your color printer now. So now he
Yes,
can
I
have pink.
can. It's right here at my
Yeah.
desk. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, before we digress too much. Well,
Okay.
congratulations, though. It's a very
Thank
exciting.
you.
I'm very
Thank
excited
you.
for you.
Thank you. And it's just so pretty to look at.
Oh, it
Yes.
is.
Mhm.
It is. Okay, so of course there's going to be some that were repeated, just reworded differently,
Mhm.
because that's everyone has their own way of doing it. So I'm going to try
Yeah.
to combine some of
Okay.
these.
Okay.
Um, and some of them will be things that we've all heard, but we like to hear because sometimes we're in different seasons, right? And we need to
I
hear it again.
hear that when I repeat things, it's okay.
Mhm. I
Mhm.
do. I think it is because you never know where you're going to be when you're listening to this
Right.
or listening to it again.
Yep. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Okay.
Or I meant to do that and I never did. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so let's go with what is your most favorite friendly meal? So a few, I guess, ideas of what your family would go nuts for when you.
Number one would be tacos, which of course is a simple, sustainable meal. And
Yeah.
I, many of you know, especially if you've done coaching, group coaching, one on one, I cook up 4 pounds of ground meat every week, no matter what. Every week on Tuesday when I'm prepping. It just happens to be part of my job, so that's a plus. But simple. You Gwen's Nest, or you can just Google THM taco seasoning bulk. I highly encourage that so that you're ready to go. A couple tablespoons, whatever the measurements are, throw it in there. And you can just have that meat seasoned. You can put it in the refrigerator if you know you're going to have it that week, or you can put it in the freezer. Either way, all you have to do is reheat it. It doesn't take much time either way. And then just, clean out your refrigerator. Got some leftover wraps, got some salad. Do you have some taco shells that your people like? My boys love the Tostito, the cup corn chips. And we just put a little bit in all of those. We put cheese on it for them, put it in the microwave, get it melty. Then they have their salsa and usually a cucumber, a few other little freshies and stuff, and they're pumped. And that's a crossover for them. I love a taco salad, SE, either way. Yeah, very
It's
easy.
easy versatile. It everyone can get
Yep.
however they want it.
Yep. And mine can be S or E because I use lean venison. So it's lean, 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 lean. So just think through that. The next one I would say is spaghetti. It's the same thing. You got your ground meat cooked. I use the Classico tomato basil sauce. Add that in there. A little extra Italian seasoning. That's done. I use my Instant Pot to cook whole wheat noodles for my people, generic from the Walmarts. And then I use a variety of noodles. Once again, my meat is lean, so this can be E or S or fuel pull, if you will. I don't like to do fuel pull meals personally, but I'll either do my favorite would be red lentil pasta, but I want the spaghetti noodles. I don't want the rotini or the whatever, all the other things. I just don't, that's just not my jam. But it's just a shape, and I know that's silly, but it's just what I love. But you also have the cognac noodles, like Miracle Noodles, or the THM Ancient Wisdom noodles. Is that right? I think.
Mhm.
Both of those are fuel pull, but cheaper and less stinky are the palmini noodles. And actually found some at Aldi yesterday at a little grocery haul. And they're in a pouch and they're fuel pull. I only use about half of the bag, and then I save the other half for my leftover for a meal for the other day, the next day, and that's fuel pull. So my salad would have a fatty dressing, um, and I have a meal, and they're happy, and it's great.
Easy. Like if you do their, I mean, that sounds so simple with the warming just that up. It's not like you're making two separate kinds of sides
Well,
that
heavens
are
no.
extensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
And then
that's
when
it.
you do some of your, oh, sorry, when you do some of your dairy free or dairy low things too, you can just those are easy to modify on your side
Yeah.
too.
And both of
Yeah.
those are dairy free.
Yeah.
I didn't the ones that can't have dairy, they'll put cheese, sour cream on the taco stuff. And the ones that are not dairy free might put mozzarella on top or Parmesan on top. I use nutritional yeast. So, and then Wes
You're
and
gonna need it.
Katie. Katie is definitely dairy free. She is a hardcore girl. Let me tell you, a girl. And Wes tries
Yeah.
because he knows it
That's
causes
well,
him.
because a lot of people are asking more about that. I think too, is dairy low or dairy free.
Yeah.
Um,
So this week specifically, when I go to do my live in the kitchen, there are several recipes that have, all this cheese. So if you're doing something like a casserole where, you want it to be simple, that's the whole point. We don't want to have to make two different things. So if you don't have a dairy allergy, this works. So half the pan or a quarter of the pan, whatever, doesn't have the dairy, especially if you're layering cheese or putting cheese on top. Just don't put the cheese on part of it. It's fine. Like I do that all the time. And it works great for us.
yeah, that's awesome that
And I
she's
do miss cheese. I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't serve me well. So I'm moving on. I'm doing those hard
and is
things, all that.
and is that how you do it? Is that literally like is that how you tell yourself? Because I know that that too is people, you're trying to do better, but cheese isn't bad for people that who
Right,
don't have a problem. So
right.
like that desire, is it just you have to just tell yourself it's okay, I'm not going to do it this time, or how do you
Yes,
how do you kind of work through that?
yes. It's not this time. I can have cheese tomorrow if I want to, but I don't have to have it right now. And I'm like, yeah, I don't. It's fine. And like I have that conversation with myself. And I think that's another like statement or a thought process to use with anything that tempts you, maybe because there are a lot of things that are permissible but not beneficial. Dairy is definitely one of those if you don't have the allergy. But even if you have a craving for a Snickers, and that is not part of your goal, like it's if you're wanting to reach a certain goal, having a Snickers isn't in line with that. And so, you can tell because you're a grown person. If you wanted to have that Snickers, you could eat it, but it doesn't align with
Yeah.
your goals. So tell yourself, we're not going to have that today. You can have it tomorrow because you could. You could skip it on Monday and have it on Tuesday. But on Tuesday, you're probably not even going to think about it. And that brings you one day further from having those off plan things. It's those little bitty things of progress that I think make all the difference in the world. So I think that's a
I
great
think,
tool to use.
yeah,
Hmm.
no, that's a perfect analogy to use because it does. You probably would forget. And if you
Yeah.
didn't, like you said, you can always have that same conversation again until it will.
Yep.
Do you have any advice for that? Or do you think there's a time as far as just on bouncing off of what you were saying with the something that's off plan like that, as
Mhm.
far as sugar goes? Do you think there's a time when our body stops that? Like,
The craving it.
yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
I do. I don't. 7 years in, I don't. I did have a small piece of Lily's birthday cake on Friday, and then we had a 50 wedding anniversary celebration we went to on Saturday. And I'll say I had maybe a 2 by 2 square of Lily's cake. And then at the 50th wedding anniversary party, I had 3 bites of the cake, and um I also had like there were berries mixed in that too, because I cut the cake, so I saved me some of the berries. We're sitting on top,
it's the
but
payment. It was the,
it was, yeah, that was my cutting the cake tax.
yeah,
But you know, it tasted really good, but I didn't have so much that it hurt me. But did I share that with Buds? That when I talked about that yesterday? I don't know. We went live so many times yesterday. I don't remember when I said what, but it was not a huge temptation for me to eat that whole piece. I could have, but I was like, well, I'm good, but I'd eaten a great meal. And I was just visitating with all these people that I didn't know a lot of them. And so just kind of talking with them, and the ones I did, catching up, some people I hadn't seen in a long time. And so that's one of my go-tos is I always want to um, focus on the people around the table, not necessarily what's on my plate. And that's something that really helps me a lot in those situations where it's very tempting. Because at my house, we don't have a lot of sugary things, just in general, we do. But most of the time, they're not things that would tempt me. But yes, to answer your question, I think over time of telling yourself, not today, you don't have to have that today. And it gives you more and more time to build up that resolve that you are going to stay on plan.
yeah. So there wouldn't be like do you know like time frame wise? Is it kind of going to be different for everybody then, do you think, as far as that getting over those habits, the old habits they want to get rid of, as far as sugar goes or
Probably
dairy? I mean, I
so.
guess I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Some people it's 6 months, a year, a couple of years. I think what it boils down to though is your triggers. Do you allow yourself to lose your mind and go hog wild when one little thing goes wrong in your life? Or do you say, no, my circumstances are not affecting my goals that I have for my life. I'm going to stay true to the promises that I've made myself, no matter what happens. I think if you go into it with that mindset, you have a better chance of staying true to what you've decided, having that
Yeah, I think,
having that decided. Just like when we go into a restaurant, and I encourage my clients, when you're going into a restaurant, you need to know what's on the menu and you need to know what you're going to order. And if you want an extra layer, tell the person that you're with, hey, look, I really want to be on plan and this is what I'm getting. Help me. Hold my feet to the fire, or whatever. And I think that's good. And just have that, it's decided, you know. Um, you've gone to restaurants your whole life. You've had fried onion rings your whole life. You can go one night without having them. You can. If your goal
yeah.
is health and weight loss, then you can. Yeah.
How did that work for Katie as far as the decision to make that's a big decision for her age, to be able to know that that's not beneficial for her.
Yeah.
So
So,
is it just because the repercussions are so bad, or
right.
that she feels so bad?
Right. So my youngest daughter, Katie, was diagnosed with alopecia when she was 5, and she's now 15. Alopecia is an autoimmune disease. It was triggered by a vaccine injury and some serious emotional things that was happening in our life at the moment. And it happened twice. She began healing from it and then it recurred. But since 2019, she has had growth. Her hair is as long as mine, full. She doesn't have her eyebrows, but they're slowly, all that slowly coming in. But when I started THM, she was very young. And she just saw how I was eating and she saw me change, over those months. And she was that age. Many of y'all with little ones know if you're drinking a GGMS, they want a sip. If you made a shake, they want a sip. You made this, I want a bite, whatever. And I think that's how that happened. But the more that she has dug in and the more that she has kind of seen, I think it's an example because I haven't pushed THM on any of them, but she just saw the results. But she knows what dairy does to her tummy and she doesn't like it. And so she wants to avoid that consequence. And at 15 years old, I mean, she's done some really hard things in her life, and it's
100%.
I mean, this is not food, but she was bald, y'all, bald headed. And she danced at Disney World on stage, marched in the parade. She danced in Times Square and on a Broadway stage, bald headed. Um, all kinds of things. People would just come up to her and I'm praying for you. And she's like, I don't have cancer. I have alopecia, but she would just tell them, that kind of thing. And there were some very hard days, but nothing compared to the good day. I mean, like it was fine. So,
It's amazing. That's so
mhm.
awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So
So her
that's just
taking
it.
dairy and sugar out brought down inflammation in her body because she was having a lot of reactions, like a bug bite, swollen. Um,
Oh, wow.
MSG, maybe in like a fast food place, her little mouth would break out or whatever. But she has almost eliminated all sugar. She still has some from time to time, but she's pretty clear with, and she says butter doesn't count. She does have butter. She's like, butter don't count. It's fine. But she does know the culprits that hurt her. And she's like, why would I do something that would hurt me? And I'm like, glory, amen, hallelujah. You're right.
So amazing. That's so
Mhm.
amazing to watch.
Why
Like,
would I have something that's going to hurt me?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And she's a child, I
She is
mean,
a
she's growing
15-year-old
into
girl.
a young woman, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's
Oh
to
yeah,
hear.
that Wes and I say she's grown.
Yeah, I know. And it's so you think, I'm like, okay, because I feel like it's harder for I mean, it's so funny because with children, it's like you're the, you give them what they can have. So you're in
Hmm.
more control, of what they can eat or don't eat when they're
Yes,
younger,
yes.
So but when they're of that age, when they're making, can make their own decisions voluntarily, my goodness, my children, who knows what they would be eating, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and they
The
don't,
other
they don't
day when I made that
process.
that lentil skillet with my chicken and the spinach and the seasonings, like that's all it is. She ate the
Yeah.
other half with no problem. Like, oh, can I have that?
Yeah.
Um, she made those thumbprint cookies for me. I think she ate more than half of them. Like little heifer. Those are for me.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't tried that yet. I haven't got any of that stuff,
They're
but you said
so
they're
good.
really good. Yeah,
So
I'm
good.
gonna have to try. Yeah, I think that it's true the younger too that you're just leading because I do that. If I make a good girl moonshine and I put cherry berry in it sometimes,
Hmm.
I have to watch where I put it because
Yep.
inevitably my two youngest, I'm
Oh,
like, I'll go and I'm like, there's ice left. How did this happen? So it has to be for reach because they do. The older two, not as much, but I think it's because I've been more consistent, with the younger ones. And especially the last two was I was more THM when I was pregnant too.
yeah.
And I really think that makes a difference when you're not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's good. That's
So
really good.
good.
Um, there was another one that I had that was right with that and now. Oh, so when just as we're since we're still talking about children, when your children were younger, how did you do the exercise thing? And I know when you
Hmm.
started CrossFit, that's how you did, but when they were little, is it you weren't as exercising as much, but even 7 years ago they were little. So, and your
Right, they
boys.
were.
So how
Mhm.
did you maneuver that? How did you
So when I started CrossFit, Knox was 6 months old, and
Yeah.
I was
So they
in
were
an
super
awful place. Knox was 6 months, so camp was barely two,
yeah.
or almost ish. So I went at 5:30 in the morning. just like I do now. And because that was the only time I had, I stayed home. Wes worked his behind off. I stayed home with all the kids. If I was going to go, I had to go early in the morning. Could I have gone when Wes got home from work? Yes. Did I want to do that? No. And so it wasn't easy. And I would say probably I went through a period where I was solid 3 days a week, a lot. I don't really remember specifically, but it did fall back to 2 days a week. And now I'm back to trying to do three when possible. And then my off day, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when I go. Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
I'm walking a mile around my house. And that's what I do. I think a lot of people hear that I do CrossFit and they're like, oh my gosh, she does CrossFit. And yes, it is a lot. But like today, we did some barbell movements and I used the 35-pound bar. I didn't have tons of plates on my bar. That's not what I do, but I'm strong. I'm very strong. And I want people to know if they're interested in CrossFit, not all gyms are equal and as marvelous as mine, I will say. And we're not even really a CrossFit affiliate anymore, but I still call it CrossFit. It's burned into my brain. I cannot change it. But we do CrossFit like workouts. And but just go. You can go to one class for free and see how you like it. And even if you're going to a fitness center gym type thing, nobody's judging you. These people, there's two groups in my opinion, and I could be wrong. This is just what I think. Y'all asked me what I think, so here it is. There's two groups. There's one group is that they're so self-conscious and worried about themselves, they do not see you. And the other group, they're confident, they're happy, they're proud of themselves, and they're proud of you because you walked through the door. Those are the two groups of people. So there's nothing to worry about. Get your behind in there. Go do something if that's what you want to do. Um, I was scared out of my mind to go to CrossFit. Nervous. I used a PVC pipe forever. I was so aggravated. I'm like, I want a barbell. And they're like, you're not ready. I'm like, okay, fine. And so now I have wonderful form. And Saturday I'm judging a competition. What in the world?
What in the
So
world? Seriously?
yeah, it's crazy. I did handstand push-ups today. It was you're supposed to do 10 each round. I did one. I counted it as 2 reps because those suckers are difficult. And then I did 8 push-ups. And so, like I don't go full out, but if I can level up, okay, that's my thing for this year, I'm going to. And so adding in things at the end of my workout is something that I'm trying to do this year. I'm up to doing 7 sit-ups on the GHD. And then I do the back extensions. I'm up to 13. I can do more, but I don't have to, need to, want to. I'm just doing those just because over a year that adds up, right? And then I do
For
five
sure.
five toes to bar. So I do those things at the end of every workout just to have a little bit extra because I can. It takes no time to do those. And I don't know, it just kind of, it's a little extra, and I like that. But I think it is important if exercise is something that you want to do and you have a young family or a busy life, that kind of thing, you might have to change something to see the change. It's not easy. And getting up at Wes was like, you're really going to get up. I remember that conversation. You're going to get up and go to a class at 5:30 in the morning. Yes, I am. And I did it because I needed it. I needed it. And then 6 months later I found THM and then y'all know the rest. So it's pretty incredible.
That's awesome that you just touched on that because that's what I was going to follow up with was the conversation that you had with Wes. So did you just you knew you needed something different. So is
Mhm.
that kind of how you broached him? You're like, this something has got to be different.
Yeah,
And
years
that's
prior, I did kettlebell classes. There was one that met, there's a walking track park type thing by our hospital, and so they had it there, which kept costs low. And so we were out there just swinging our kettlebells, and it was early in the morning. It wasn't quite that early, but it was early in the morning, maybe 6:37, maybe something like that. It was during the summer. And so Wes would just kind of help me out, watching the kids, and I would say, well, that was when Katie was probably 2. Bella was before Lily was 6. So they were all little then, and I did that. And they would come with me sometimes. And then my friend opened a kettlebell studio in Summit where I live. So that was like minutes from my house. And we would have an early morning class. She also did some classes at her house after some time. And the girls would come with me for those in the afternoon, just because, I mean, we homeschooled. It didn't interfere with what they were doing. They got to play with their friends. It was fine. So I did things like that. There's a lot of people here, in their backyard or in their garage. They would do garage gyms or something like that. And a bunch of women would just get together. So that was pretty common here, years ago. But I mean, just invite a friend over or get your kids together. I don't do this like Zumba and like I'm not a dance person. Like my girls watching them at that anniversary party, I'm like, these are not my children. Because Wes and I are like, okay. I mean, it wasn't gross or anything, but they knew every single dance. This song, oh, they did this. Oh, this, all of them. They know all from Footloose to the Cupid Shuffle. They were killing it. But they were cute as pie. But it's just not my thing. I'd rather just sit and talk to people. But if that's something that you love, have a dance party with your kids. That'll get your heart rate up. It's okay. You don't have to go to a class, that kind of thing. But I do have an
And I think
exercise
that's perfect.
course. Just saying. You would like to work out with Coach Amy.
And that's what's the best part is because then you can. I mean, doing it and they're short.
Yeah,
The
they are.
videos are short and you can do it at home because I think that's especially this time of year, people are trying to that's what's so funny about kind of the New Year's, beginning of the year is that most places it's pretty cold. And
Mhm.
so the motivation for exercise outdoors tends to be, I think, wanes. I know it does for me. I don't have any desire. If I got up at
Oh, well, I'm
5:30,
pretty
I would
sure it
be,
was 15 degrees in the CrossFit gym this morning.
I
It was
bet, I
35
bet.
outside, but that metal building has zero insulation and no heat. And so we had on gloves because the barbell is so cold, you know. So it's not
Right,
like I'm going into a amazing facility here. Just saying. It's wonderful.
right.
I love
Yeah.
it. Apparently, I've been there 7.5 years, but
Well, and it's good, like you said, that people are able to find that. And I know that you've said it before, and it's finding what you like, what you love to
yes,
do,
yes,
because that's what's gonna stick. That's
that's
what's
right.
gonna, so you getting up and dancing is like, no, I
Nope.
don't want to do that.
Nope.
But if that's your jam, then
Well, even
that's
the end
great to
of
get
Serena and
something.
Pearl's work-ins, the end of their work-ins where you're doing the thing, I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to do this. And I'm glad that's great, but that's not Amy. And so you may not be Amy, you may be you, and you need to find what works for you. But do something for heaven's sakes. Get off your behind. Do something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think. There was quite a few things about wanting to know what your hardest thing was to overcome when
Mm,
you started your journey.
yeah.
If you could pick something, what that hardest thing was.
Yeah. And I think I'm learning that still, what my hardest thing was, because I went many years as an adult not able to self-assess, maybe step back and truly think. My life was going so fast. We had so many kids in a short amount of time. We've struggled financially. We struggled in our marriage. But as I'm getting older, as I am becoming certified in all these things, the life coaching really opened my eyeballs to a lot of things. Your some of your activities are, ask yourself this question, ask someone that you love and trust this question about you, and that kind of thing. Wes is actually, he's a certified life coach now, and he is finishing his master's in biblical counseling. And he has to do some 20-minute sessions with 5 people and ask them these hard questions and go through different things like that. And it's very eye opening when you start thinking about what it is that it makes you, because the things that I struggle with are what makes me who I am now. And those struggles that I had are how I am helping my clients because I see it and I know it. Now I'm living in the other side of it. Do I struggle with stuff sometimes? Yes, but I'm living on the other side of it. And so I'm like it's like a living testimony, living proof that it can be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But I would say that my main struggle would be feeling unworthy. Maybe not necessarily unimportant, but like I am not um worth worrying about right now. So many I just felt low on the totem pole of priorities. And that was a self-inflicted thought. Because y'all know Wes Gaskin is my biggest fan. I'm like, he would be brokenhearted if he knew that that was what happened, that kind of thing. My girls, of course, when they were little and the boys were little, they don't know any different. But as they're getting older, they would be like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. But a lot of times I think our problems are self-inflicted. And that could be really hard to hear. But it's something that I think people need to step back and think about. Truly, you know, does your husband want you to run around like a chicken with your head cut off and act like a fool because you're so stressed out? No, he does not. But he don't know how to help you because he might say something and you bite your
Yep.
head off or whatever. Um, but I just think that having that self-confidence and the improving your self-worth and loving yourself, that is what I've had to work on the most. I am a tried and true people pleaser. I am. That is one of my toxic traits, if you will. And having a business like this and being a people pleaser is difficult because the negative comments will overshadow 9,000 compliments. And Wes and Darlene, God bless their hearts, they just know, I don't know, it's just fine. It's just one person's opinion and it's probably a them problem. And I'm like, okay, oh my gosh. I hate
But it's
disappointing people.
hard. Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. You know, I used this example with my bud yesterday, just explaining and making it very clear, probably a little too elementary style, but this is group coaching. I am not calling roll because it never fails. At the end of a buds, somebody is going to find the evaluation, even though they haven't done buds. I still don't understand that, but whatever. They find the evaluation and say, well, I dropped off coaching and you didn't notice. I never promised that I was going to keep tabs on you. It's group coaching. You need to have
Right.
that self-love, that self-worth, that self-discipline that you invested and you're worth doing the work in coaching. And that's with anything that we do. You've got to apply yourself to your marriage. You've got to apply yourself to your children. You have to apply yourself to your job, to your church, to your friends, and then to yourself is what's most important. Because when you're doing that to yourself, it's going to spill over into all those other things. You're going to be a better person. You'll be able to handle the stuff, handle the people better. And I think that is one of the things I'm most proud of myself is that I have poured into myself so that I can help as many people as I do.
Oh, God. That's so good.
Your
Because
face.
it's, I know, I'm like, I don't know if there's another question to follow that. That's so good. And I think being able to share that with people, because I know you talked about it yesterday too, and I don't, forgive me, I can't remember where, but that same
It doesn't
idea
matter.
is it, I know, right? It's not everybody else's stuff has to be yours.
Yes.
So it's being able
Yes.
to see like this is what I need to do, and it's
Mhm.
okay if they still have stuff that they're working on because we're all working on
Yes.
something,
Yeah.
you know.
And look, I'll even say, I'm having
So
this issue with this person, but it's an Amy problem. I need to work on that. Just say, I don't know that you and I have ever had a disagreement, but let's just say that there was something that came up between us and I knew it was an Amy problem. It was an issue that I needed to work through. I can't be mad at you about
yeah,
that, whatever. But yes, definitely an example that I use because I have a lot of people or clients that I notice that get so wrapped up in their kids, especially their adult kids' problems. Now, I kind of have an adult kid. She still lives at home. She's almost 19, But say she has an issue with something. Well, I'm not gonna go to bed with a headache, all just frightful about it, and just so upset because
Right.
she has a problem. That's her problem. I'm here to love God and support her through it, but it's not mine. I don't need to absorb her problem. If Wes has an issue with a customer or a renter or something, I'm not going to wring my hands worrying about it. It's his problem. Do you need to talk about it? Can I help you with something? Is there an issue or something we need to fix so this doesn't happen again? Let's do that. But I'm not going to worry about it. Someone close to me is very, very sick. Zero I can do about it. Eating something off plan is not going to make them feel better. Starving myself
Mhm.
is not going to make them feel better. And so I love them. I help them. I pray for them. That's where it stops. I don't take on those things. And with all the one-on-one clients I have, that's a good thing that I have that in place because
Oof.
holy moly, the things that these women have been through. And there are sometimes I get off a call and I'm crying. It's heartbreaking, but I take that time to pray for them and make a plan. What else can I do to support them? And then I go on about my business because I could, mercy sakes, back in the day, and I know people still do this with depression and anxiety, that she's taken to bed, she had to go lie down or whatever. Like, oh, I'd be just Scarlett O'Hara passing out all day long. Y'all have no idea the things that
Yeah.
come across my desk. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. And so I think that's a really good thing for people to think about. And that's what I think has been my biggest struggle in life, taking on other people's problems, being a people pleaser, but and speaking up, learning to speak up for myself and take care of me first. And it's not that I don't take care of my people as well, but since I am taking care of myself, I'm able to help them. Yep.
And it feels like you've gotten so many new habits, not new, but habits that you're doing that you
Mhm.
keep little bits here and there,
Yeah,
that
itty
you're
bitty
able
changes.
to,
Yep.
yeah,
And do
to work
I
on
do
that.
I fall prey to that depression and anxiety? Yes. The last few weeks of the year were very difficult for me. But
Yeah.
I took extra time for myself. I took off from one-on-one, which was a wonderful idea. High five, Amy. Um, and I would just tell my family I do have the luxury of leaving my kids. They can stay by themselves. It's fine. And say I need to go spend some quiet time by myself. And that's okay. If your children are safe or you can find somewhere safe for them to go so you can go take some time for yourself, that's fine. And it's okay, Darlene, we've had this conversation. If you put them in front of the TV for an hour so you can go sit quietly in your room or 20 minutes, whatever, it's okay to do that because otherwise you are probably going to be a raging lunatic to those kids. So is it better for them to watch something on TV and you take a minute or for you to keep taking it, keep taking it and explode? Because that's what I used to do. That's what I
Yeah.
used to do. And now I don't. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. I think that we do, we got taking it and taking it. And I think that ties back to what you were saying about having enough self-worth to know that you're important enough that
Mhm.
you know, we have to take a breath sometimes to
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
regroup and lay
And
out,
one more thought because we've got to go. Got to wrap this sucker up.
Okay.
I made a post. I think I just shared someone else's post on Instagram, like to my story. And it said something like, "Hey girl, you're worth it," or maybe it was "You're enough." "Hey girl, you're enough," or whatever. And for me, saying that is you don't have to be something that you're not. That's the thought behind that one. And someone messaged me, I don't know who it was, I don't even know when this was, but it stuck with me. And they were like, "With Christ, I'm enough." And I'm like, well, yes, but guys, I love Jesus. He is my savior. I pray all the time. I read my Bible. I got my devotions. I've written Bible studies, people.
Right.
But we don't have to, oh gosh, this is probably gonna bite me in the behind. But we don't have to throw God into it. Like, yes, with Jesus, we are enough. He loves us, yes, but that's not where that is coming from. where that's coming from is from people telling us or making us feel like we are unimportant, unloved, unworthy. And it's not that sometimes it's done intentionally. Most of the time it's not. It's a perception that we have from others. Others have made us feel like we are not enough. Others have made us feel ugly, unwanted. And I really think it's intentional and unintentional most of the time, but sometimes it is for sure abuse and things like that. But you are enough and you are worth it and you can do these hard things. And you've just got to tell yourself that and convince yourself of that. You know, I'm a totally different person in a very good way than I used to be. And I'm always changing, always growing. And I think that's an awesome thing to do.
So good. So good. I do. I love it. That's the best part. Then we get off some of those and I'm like, yep.
Yep.
And I think that's these are the real things that so many people are going through,
Yeah, it is. And I
especially
see
right now.
it. Yeah, I see it all the time. Even in comments, I'm like, oh, she needs a hug. And somebody to tell her you are an awesome person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Whew, that was good.
And we started out with food.
We did. I'm always going to go back to that. I can't help it. I can't help
Yeah.
that mindset stuff. I can't, it's what's most important. Y'all think y'all just need good recipes. That ain't what you need.
Nope.
Nope.
Because nope. What's
Nope.
behind it?
Yep.
What's behind it? Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Darlene.
All right. Oh, it's my pleasure.
I thank y'all for listening, and I hope that was helpful. Maybe you can take some notes later.
Yeah. Right.
Y'all have a great week. Thanks so much for watching and listening. That's all for me, myself, and Darlene for February. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.